Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here and you don't know me yet, my name is Anessa and I'm an indie author from Toronto, Canada, and I publish under the pen name A.N. Sage. On this channel, I talk a lot about the art of writing, but I also talk about different creative things. I discuss planning because I'm a planning freak and I just love it so much. And I talk about a lot of different ways to be an entrepreneur, to succeed as an entrepreneur, because I have been working for myself for quite some time now. So in today's video, this is going to be an author video, and I think this is a really good thing to talk about and to talk about fairly often because things change and there's always some kind of revision on this topic, but it's newsletters. So newsletters for authors. Newsletters for authors are a huge thing. If you are starting out as a writer, even if you don't have anything published yet, I 1000% recommend that you start a newsletter, because newsletters and talking to your readers and getting to know them is the best way to spread the word about your books. You want to connect to readers one-on-one, and the easiest way to do that is to go to them directly, which is through a newsletter, to land in their inbox. So there's a couple of things that you want to think about when you're thinking about a newsletter for author. And in today's video, I kind of want to discuss some of those tips in order to help you smoothly set up your newsletter and to run it smoothly, and just a couple of ways that maybe you could grow it as well. So my first tip, of course, when you're setting up a newsletter, what are you going to do? You need to find a provider. So you need to have a way of sending these emails out to your readers on a regular basis. There are different providers out there. MailChimp is a very popular one. It is also a very expensive one since they changed their terms of services a few years ago. Another one is MailerLite. That's the one that I am using. I used to use MailJet and I switched over to MailerLite, but MailChimp and MailerLite are two of the big popular ones. If you Google newsletter provider, there's going to be a ton that will come up. So just do your research. But for the most part, a lot of authors I know are using MailerLite. That is why I switched over. If you have a lot of subscribers, it does end up getting to be more expensive, but you can start out free with it if you have under 1,000 subscribers. So take a look when you're choosing a provider. Make sure that you look at their terms and services. Make sure that you understand what you're paying for if it's a paid service, and understand when your price will go up. Will it be when you send more than a certain amount of emails? Will it be when you have a certain amount of subscribers? If you're segmenting or grouping your subscribers in different ways, will that affect how much you pay? So just take a look at everything out there and figure out what works for you and for your budget and for your needs. Now, after you find your provider, you want to decide on a schedule. So you need to figure out how often you're going to be sending out this newsletter. Are you going to send one once a week? Are you going to send one every 2 weeks? Are you going to send one once a month? Are you only going to send a newsletter when you have a book coming out? Everybody does this differently. I used to send a newsletter every week, then I dropped to every 2 weeks, and now I'm doing it once a month. I don't want to only send a newsletter when I have a new release coming out. And the reason for that is because I don't publish a book a month anymore the way I used to. I don't have as many releases every year. I have 1 or 2 now. And so if I don't talk to my readers regularly, they're going to forget about me. I'm going to land in spam folders, and it's just not going to have the same effect of me connecting to them and of me selling the books, right? So you want to make sure that you decide on a schedule that not just works for your business and your books, but also is something that is attainable for you. So if you want to send a newsletter once a week, but you don't have time to do it, it's better to send it less but regularly than to try to send it once a week and then fail at it every other time, right? You need consistency is what I'm saying. Because people need to know that, let's say on the first Friday of every month, or like on the 4th of every month or whatever, they're going to get a newsletter from you. So have a consistency, let people know when they can hear from you, and then stick to that schedule. Now, another thing that is a good tip to have is create a template. So most of these providers that you're going to go through, they're going to allow you to create templates for your newsletters. the reason I say create a template is because branding. You've branded yourself as an author, so you want to make sure that your branding is consistent in your newsletter, but also it's going to make it so much easier for you to figure out what you're sending out every month. Now, if you are subscribed to my newsletter, and if you're not, I'll put a link below, but if you're subscribed to my author newsletter, every month, the way that it works is you're going to get a note from me. That's the first thing you're going to get. It's kind of an update on writing and life and whatever else I have going on. Then you're going to have my TBR. So the books that I am reading that month, or planning to read that month, I'm going to show those to you and see if maybe you might want to read them alongside with me. Then after that, usually I have a kind of free space where more often than not, you'll see one of my favorite videos of the month before from this channel that I'll tell you about and give you a link on when you can watch it, or if there's something going on with my cover design stuff or courses or whatever. So that's kind of an open space there for that. And then after that, if I have any free books I'm giving away or I'm part of any giveaways, you get links for that below that. And that's going to be my newsletter every single month. Now, my readers know to expect this. They know exactly what they're getting every single month. And they look forward to it every month. And then we chat about some of the books that I've recommended, or we chat about whatever I wrote in that intro. Or if they watch the video, they'll chat to me about it. So it's just a fun way to kind of let them know what to expect. Now, templates they take a bit of time to set up. You might have more than one. They do take a bit of time to set up. But once you do set them up, it's very easy for you to send that newsletter the clockwork every single time that you've decided for yourself based on your schedule. The other thing that templates are really good for your newsletter is they allow you to have, and most of these providers will allow you to have a drip campaign. So they will, like a welcome sequence, basically. It's a sequence of emails that you create templates for, and then your provider will send them out as people sign up. Now, a welcome sequence, this is the next tip. A welcome sequence is something you definitely want to have because it helps eliminate people that don't want to be on the newsletter. If they signed up accidentally, if they signed up because you offered something, but they're not subscribers that are going to be there all the time. In order not to have like a high spam rating, what you want to do is create this welcome sequence and make sure that the people that stay on your newsletter are the people that actually want to be there and there for you and your books. My welcome sequence involves, usually I have a reader magnet, something I offer. We'll talk about that in a second. But I have a reader magnet that I offer. When they sign up, the first email that they get is a welcome to the newsletter, and here's your link for the reader magnet. Then about a day later, I send another email to them, and it's a getting to know me thing where I tell them about myself and why they signed up, and if they don't remember, here's who I am. Then I have another email that shows them what books I have. So if they want to buy a few of the books, and I kind of promote some of the books that I have right now that I want to get more eyes on or something like that. And then an email about a week after. So it's like a 7-day sequence after they sign up the first time. And then the last email they get a week after is an email that asks them if they want to join my advanced reader team. So those are the emails that you would usually get on my welcome sequence for my author, and one is instantaneous with the link to whatever, or thank you for signing up, then one the next day, then one after 3 days, and then one after 7 days. It's up to you how many emails you have. I would recommend having at least 2 or 3. 3 to 4 is usually a good number to have because it really helps you weed out any people that were just there, like the freebie chasers. They're just there for something free that you offered, or if they signed up as part of a giveaway you were running or a different promotion. So you're going to get kind of rid of those people. Instead of setting up which you could do in a lot of these places, you could set up different groups. So if you are doing a lot of giveaways, you could have different groups for those giveaways so that your newsletter is never kind of tainted. I don't have time to do that. So everything for me gets funneled into one newsletter, and then I use my welcome sequence as a way to weed people out. So, speaking of the reader magnet, you want to think about having a reader magnet. It could be a novella, it could be a short story, it could be a worksheet or something. But you want to think of a reader magnet, and you want to make sure you promote it on social media. So once you have one and you have a way for them to sign up, then make sure that you're promoting your newsletter on social media as often as you can. Maybe not every day, but once every couple of weeks, once a month. Just make sure people know that if they sign up to your newsletter, they get XYZ in return. And when you're promoting it and when you're kind of talking about your newsletter, you need to be very transparent about what they're getting. So you need people to know that if they're signing up for the newsletter, they are going to get an email from you once a week, for example, and you're going to talk to them about whatever you're going to talk to them about. And so you need to understand that they're not just signing up for a newsletter and they're never going to hear from you again. And the reason you want to do this is you want to really have people know that you'll be contacting them, because a lot of times they sign up, they don't hear from you right away, they might forget. And when they hear from you again, they think you're spam and they'll mark you as spam. And that affects how many newsletters you can send out. It could actually have your newsletter provider shut you down if you have too many spam reports. So just make sure that you're transparent with people, and just in general, don't lie to people about why they're signing up for a newsletter. Whatever you say you're going to do, just do it. So offer what you can offer and make sure that you're keeping your word. Then when you have your newsletter, make sure that you add it to your website. You have a pop-up to sign up for a newsletter. It's in the footer of your website. Just add it everywhere you can. If you have a blog, it's in the side column. Add it everywhere you can, because people might not see it right away. If they see a pop-up, they might just click off because it's automatic now for people. If they might not reach the footer at any point. So just make sure that it's everywhere, that you have a link on your menu for your newsletter. Advertise it as much as you can on your website, because you really want people to sign up for it. And in order to grow your newsletter, so there's another question that authors often have, is how do you grow your newsletter? How do you keep people on it? Couple ways. You can put a link to it in the back of your books, so that when they finish reading your books or your ebooks, they know where to go to sign up for it. The social media, again, that we talked about, and promoting it there. But a really good tool to use and to use fast for your newsletters is BookFunnel and StoryOrigin. I've talked about them before, but essentially on BookFunnel and StoryOrigin, you can join these giveaways. So you can give away a book, or you can give away a book for cheaper, or usually for free, works the best, because they're reader magnets. And there's a lot of authors that get together, and you promote it on your end, they promote it on their end. So you're getting many more eyes on these books. And in order for someone to get these books for free, they have to sign up for your newsletter. And so that's a great way to go about it, is using BookFunnel and StoryOrigin. And when I first started out, the only way that I grew my newsletter was through these tools, and they worked amazingly well for me to grow my newsletter to where it is now, which is a much, much higher number than it was before. Now, the last thing that you want to kind of think about when you're starting a newsletter, or when you're working on your newsletter as an author, is the copy. You want to be very specific with your copy. So this goes back to being transparent. But not only do you want to be very specific with your copy, but you want to have, not just in your newsletter, like not the sign-up sheet, but in the newsletter you send out every month, you want to be very, very specific and tailored in your copy. So I know for me, when my newsletter that I send out, that first portion of the newsletter is very personal. So the way that I'm writing is going to be the way like I'm talking to a friend. But some things below, like let's say when I'm talking about the videos for this YouTube channel, if I have a course going on, that copy is going to have a call to action. So I'm going to want them to click something, to do something. This goes the same for your welcome sequence. You want to really think hard about that copy, because you don't want to come across as fake, but you also want to make sure that you have a purpose for your newsletter, and that people are clicking on that purpose. And that purpose is for them to see your books, to buy your books, and to recommend your books to others. So make sure that the way that you write your copy reflects that. You want to be personable, you want to be friendly, but you also want to have a call to action. So you don't just want to say, hey, I have this newsletter, If you feel like it, maybe you can sign up. But just say like, hey, I have this newsletter. I email every month. I talk about this stuff. I'm really excited to have you on it. As a huge thank you for wanting to be on my newsletter, here's a free novella that I wrote that's a starter to this other series. And then in your welcome sequence, if you want to read the rest of the series now that you've read the novella, here's the link to the book, the first book, the second book, the third book, whatever. Just make sure that whatever copy you're using, it's a reflection of who you are, but it also is a reflection of who your reader is. So you want that connection there. And that's pretty much all the tips that I have for newsletters for now. I will keep making videos about newsletters because the tips for them are changing every single time. Like I said, I already switched providers probably from the last time that I talked to you about newsletters, and a whole bunch of other stuff has changed. So there's quite a few different things. One thing I should mention for the reader magnet, when you're thinking about it, when you're first starting out, you might not have a free book to offer. So what you might do is you can offer a sneak preview into what you're writing. That's a really fun way to do it. You could have like digital, if you had some art done maybe for your characters, you can offer the digital version of that for free to people, but just make sure you clear it up with the artist that they're okay with that. So there's all different, oh, that's my chair. There's all different kinds of ways that you can offer that free reader magnet, and that really gets people to sign up. So that was a side note to all of that. But as a general kind of tips, I think those are really good ones to start with if you are starting an author newsletter. Hopefully they help you out. If you have a newsletter, and if you are thinking about doing the email welcome sequence and you want me to take a look at it to let you know what I think, more than happy to kind of critique if you need a second pair of eyes on it. So just let me know and comment below with that if that's something that you need me to take a look at, or if you are thinking about copy and you can't quite land on the right one, then make sure to comment below and I'm more than happy to reply and help you out with that. So hopefully that helped you guys out there. If you can think of another video that you want me to make a video about, or a topic that you want me to make a video about, then make sure you let me know. I love to make videos that you guys are interested in. So I always try to read the comments, make notes on anything people have asked about. And then if I can make a full video about it, then I go ahead and do it. So if you've got something, hit me up and I'll try to make a video as soon as possible. So with that said, enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. Stay magical. Enjoy the summer. It's getting really nice and toasty out there. I freaking love it. It's great. I am not great in the winter, so this is fantastic. I hope you're getting out and enjoying the sunshine and basking in it. And as always, I'll talk to you next week. Bye.